All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Craps again. Here we are on a Tuesday, and a lot of good things going on today, actually. Let me go right to the announcement screen. A couple of things to talk about. One, my announcement every day from now until June is get on the Color Up Club. Join us over there. Get going to DiceCon. It's going to be a great thing in June. Again, it's cheap. Jeremy's awesome. Color Up's great. Get in over there. Now, the big announcement is this. We're actually live right now on 2 channels. I am co-streaming right now. So what I'm doing, as you all know, I'm working on these morning shows and I want to leave the live show up with all the chat, but I don't want to leave it up on ProCraps because it destroys the YouTube algorithm for my site. So what I'm doing is I'm streaming it over to my site and the casino gaming site. So that site's actually live today. We're actually going through on 2 channels right now. So I'll leave the video on the casino site. I'll probably cut it from the ProCraps site when we're all done. We'll start morphing our way over there over time. But yeah, we're actually streaming to 2 channels, which is pretty awesome. The other thing is this. Give me a second here to pull my phone up because I want to give a shout out to somebody who deserves it. And let me change my camera here so you can see this. This is going to go to this. Hopefully that's good. That's my room, by the way. That's the studio. I want to show you this. This is my chip rail, by the way. That's the thing that holds all my chips in. It's made out of wood, and that is my backboard, which you see every day in the videos. Well, both of those were made by a fellow named Donald Denny, who runs the Etsy site called 7 Out Wood NC. I've got it linked here on screen for you. Don, I've sent some people over his way. Just, hey, because he does great work. This is all handcrafted wood. I mean, he makes everything by hand, right? And it's great stuff. Well, he wanted to thank me and sent me this. I got a nice, awesome 7 Out Wood NC hat from him in the mail, as well as a couple extra chip rails. He sent them to me as a thank you. So I wanted to call Donald out. Just a good guy to work with. When I was doing the rails back here, we went back and forth a number of times to get the rails right because they didn't actually work for this table that I had built. They weren't perfect. They didn't actually fit the right way. They were a little too long when I mismeasured the first time. He let me send it all back. He made me new stuff. The guy's great. Really good to work with. Loves craps. Just got really, really good stuff. So I think he also did Jeff in Mid-Atlantic. I think, yeah, you're saying here, he got your stuff from him as well. So that's actually really cool. So Don does great work. I just wanted to call him out and say, if you're building a craps table for yourself, there you go, do that. Couple of things that are coming up in chat here that I want to make sure we address. Number one, Mike, I have tried this, the coffee butter thing, can't do it. My wife tried that when she was doing the keto thing, and I'm like, I tried it and I couldn't get on board. I'm just like black, right? Like straight up black, no nothing coffee. So to me, it just takes away from that. But anyway, that's that. What else is happening is I think Jeff, and I haven't seen it, you put out your first 15 for 150 last night, I think, right? And there's another one coming now. So Jeff's working through that series, which is actually pretty good. And I wanted to do this from Skill because Skill and Luck says this, and he and I talked on the phone and made this decision. He's like, you got to start telling people to put a Q in front of people's questions. Although, because what happens to me is when I'm rolling dice out here, I can't see your questions, right? I'm too far away from the screen. I don't have my screen mounted to my table or anything. It's just over on my desk. So it's hard to read what the words say from that far away. So what I want to do is have you all, if you have a question for me or something to say to me directly, put a Q, uppercase Q in front of it. What I can do then is I can filter the messages that I see, the big giant list of all the messages, looking for the ones that start with Q, and then I can find them, and that way I can address your actual things for me to see. Otherwise, I try to wade through all the things that y'all are talking through, and I can't tell your conversations from what you're trying to say to me. So if you use the Q in front of it, that would help me out a lot. That way I can find your stuff and I can trip it out. So there's that. So if you do that, yeah, so Joe from Craftsmaster is the first one up, right? I saw that today. That's going to be great. So Joe is going to be first up. And Jeff, if you run out of people to do that, let me know. I'll happily jump in and do that. And I see that Grandpa's here. Papa Shot, how you doing, buddy? Brian, I was joking with you the other night. during Brian's live stream. So the Hawaii Crapshooters put a live stream out of their battle at the Cal, right? So they always have these great live videos. And money shot through, and I think it was a 14 roller, something like that. And I actually, I took a screenshot of your rolls, Brian. So I've got it right in front of me here, a screenshot of your rolls. And it's interesting, your 14 roller, I joked with you about maybe I should do a breakdown of your roll, because you had a really weird roll. You had 14 rolls, but the way that the numbers came out, the order in which they came out, the pressing opportunities and payable events weren't what I thought they would be on such a long roll. Just the way that the numbers fell. So I would like to actually break this down at some point, and I can actually add this to here. Hold on, let me just do this real quick while we're just talking. I can drag this on here. I think I can just get it in there. There it is. There's the money shot roll, the 14 shot roll. And without getting too in depth with this thing, let's just do a quick little look at this, because I think all of you should do this, right? Brian puts a lot of time and effort into filming those runs at the casino. Fantastic, right? We're all the beneficiary of watching them play together and watching them shoot. And Brian puts the rolls out here on the bottom of the screen like this for us. Now let's take a look at this roll. And Brian, I'm unprepared. I literally thought of this a minute ago. Let's take a look at this roll and see what you would have done on the roll really quick, right? So he comes out on a point of 6, okay? If you're betting inside, most place bettors start with inside betting. We can look at the outside better too, but if you're an inside better, when did you get paid, okay? You didn't get paid on the 2, the 4, or the 3. You get paid on the 8, not the 11, winner 6. So in the first shot, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rolls. 2 of those rolls were actually things you would have got paid on if you were betting the inside. If you had the 4, you got paid in the 4 too. But out of 7 rolls, 2 of them payable. Then we come out 5, winner 5. So if you're on the inside again, you get paid on the 5. Come out 9, winner 9. Again, if you're on the inside, you get paid once on the 9. And then he comes out with a come out 3, the 4, another 3, and then he 7s out. So if you're betting the inside on this 14 roller, you get paid on the 8, the 6, the first 5, or the second 5, and the second 9. It's 4, my hands, 4 payable events out of 14 rolls, which is interesting. And Brian's like, I'm not worthy. I want you all to realize this. And today's subject matter is going to be talking about, we're going to talk about pressing today, right? Today's whole day is about pressing. And we always look at, and I'll give you some charts here in a minute about when do I press, how do I press, how much can I make pressing, what's the best strategy? Well, okay, here's a good roll, 14 roller, but the number of score hits was low. If you were a presser, you may not have collected at all because there was no repeats. There was no chance to repeat because, again, on the come out 5, you're probably not working your inside numbers. So you don't get paid on that one. You get paid immediately after that. And if you pressed up that 5 on the winner 5 here, if you press the 5 up, you never see the money from that. So we're going to talk today about ways to focus your pressing, your aggressiveness on the box. Flip this over. If you're a come better, what happened to you as a come better, right? Well, he establishes a point of 6, okay? You put your bet in the come, you lose it on the 2. Go back in the come on the 4, now you're on the 4. Go back in the come again, you lose it on a 3. Go back in the come again, you're on the 8. You probably go back again because you only have 2 numbers set. You win on the 11. So the 11 cancels out the 2 or the 3, but you're still down a unit coming into the come. He hits the winner 6, which you don't get paid on. Come out 5, winner 5. Again, you're not getting paid yet because you still have 3 come bets set. Come out 9, winner 9. You're not getting paid yet. Come out 3, come out 4. Your come bet in the 4 gets paid. Come out 3, 7. You lose all your come bets. So here the come better gets paid once out of that deal. At least he gets to collect some money, where the place better really doesn't collect a whole lot. So when you watch the Hawaii Crapshooters rolls, or anybody, I know that Big AZ does live rollouts all the time when he's at his bubble craps machine. Do this, just take a screenshot of what you see, right? And then lay it out and then say, how would I have played this? And don't look at how would I have played this in hindsight. How would you actually have played it, right? If you were on the Horseman, or if you were doing inside or across or skill and luck, skill 66 strategy, how would that have done here, right? It actually would have broken you even, most likely. You would have hit the winner, you would have hit the 8, pressed up, you would have hit the 6 and came down to 44. And then if you're working, you're getting some hits later on. You got to think about, how do you attack a 14 roller? And 14 rollers are hard to come by. This is an abnormally long roll for most people. How would you have played that? How would your strategy have worked against this roll? Think about it. Okay, good practice for you as you're studying and learning craps, to look at other people's rolls and be like, well, okay, my money's not at risk, but what would I have done? Or how would I change my strategy now when I see something like that? Does that make you change the way you want to play? I don't know. When I look at this and look at some other rolls of theirs that I've tracked in, it makes me think about changing the aggressiveness of how I play some of the pressing stuff. So again, 14 roller, not a ton of score hits. And again, it's rhythm. We talked about rhythm yesterday when the come betting discussion happened, right? I talked to you all the time about win frequency and the rhythm of a roll, right? 14 rolls is a lot. There's a bunch of point numbers in here, a bunch of box numbers in here, but because you have 0.9 winner 9, 0.5 winner 5, there's no rhythm to that, right? There's no like press, go. It's everything's happening so fast in a roll like this that you don't have a chance to jump. That's my point. So anyway, there it is, Brian. I'm not doing a whole show on you. I'm doing 10 minutes on you. But I think this is a good practice for us to get into. And every time you guys do a show, or anybody else does, I may spend a few minutes in the morning just kind of looking at this. And I love for you all to get in the habit of doing that. I think it's just good learning for everybody to do it. So anyway, there is that. Leslie had her first longish roll. You know what? Did you watch, Leslie? Did you happen to watch the Same Bet show last night with Ed from Roll to Win? You can let me know in the comments if you did. If you watched that show, Ed made a really good point. And I think I try and stress this when I can here, but I don't do it enough, which is when you're practicing, if you're practicing at home, if you can practice on a table at home of some kind, if you practice while you're shooting. Like what I do here in the morning is I'm randomly flinging them, just working a strategy because I'm trying to work you with strategy. And Ed says this all the time. When you're throwing, you're thinking about your throw, you're all like kind of locked in, and your strategy kind of goes out the window a little bit. You kind of forget what you're doing and like, where am I at? And they go, oh shit. So I press, at worst, same bet it while you're throwing, but practice what you're going to bet while you're throwing, because you have to get your mind right so that you can be on autopilot when you're throwing, because your throwing is got to be your focus. So that is it. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to show you today's topics. Not that one. Oh yeah, this one. We're going to do. We're going to talk about what I call profit lockers. Now, we have talked about in the past this idea of a 3-phase betting system, right? Phase 1. And I'll show you again at the table here in a second, but in phase 1, your whole bankroll is available to you, okay? You're working hard in phase 1 to get to what's called a stable base or a foundation, okay? And we say, bring enough money for 10 shooters. Well, your phase 1 strategy, your whole bankroll's there. It might take 10 shooters to get you to the point where your bankroll is where you started it and you have enough profit to do something more aggressive, or enough profit to keep playing, right? Your initial kind of foray into it, that's phase 1. And I say phase 1 is your whole bankroll is available, not because I want you to put your whole bankroll out there, but you may have to work a little bit to get to the point where your bankroll is back to even plus a little bit of playing profit. That's phase 1. We've covered 4 or 5 strategies that could work in phase 1. And I think that's the time where you could use some kind of a laddering thing because you've got more bankroll to play with. You could use the crossbow, iron cross, the butterbird. You could use lots of ways to get to a phase, to a foundation, right? The skill and luck 66 is a great way to get there because it's quick. Phase 1, I'd like it to be quicker than using your entire bankroll, but you have the bankroll available to you to get you there should you need it. Now we're looking at phase 2. And in phase 2, that's like kind of the baseball, get them on thing. In phase 2, what I want to do is work us to this idea of, okay, now I've got enough to play with, barely. Like for example, let's say that our profit goal, and today we'll make it a $500 buy-in, $100 profit. Let's say that our phase 1 strategy got us to back to $500 in our bank and $44 or $54 or $50, let's say. That's your now you're phase two money. You've made half of your profit, but you're not quite there yet. The question you have, and the question I would answer hopefully for you here is, what do I do now to get my next 50 bucks to get to my goal? Do I continue to use my bankroll to try and get another 50 bucks? Or do I use the 50 that I earned in phase one as the only way that I can bet in phase two? In other words, play with a short stack. And that's what I want to talk about today is, can we use just the money that we won to win the next 50 bucks? In other words, how do you turn a short stack into a little bigger of a short stack and kind of grow it from that little bit out and reduce your overall risk? And that's the goal of today is we're going to look at short stack play in two phases, right? One is going to be just the notion of what it is. Two is going to be using pressing methods to get there. I want to do a quick demo of different ways to press, and I've got a bunch of them on screen, and we'll look at those here in a minute, the different ways you can press. And I can't do all of them, obviously, but I'm going to give you some ideas about it, okay? So again, today we're focusing on phase two, short stack betting, okay? Only your foundation money is available to you. You are not allowed to dip into your bankroll in this phase. And again, we want this to be a stable strategy, but one that's more reliable. So a little bit maybe less risk here, but we're going to try and roll through and grow our bankroll. And again, here, the goal is your goal. And what I mean by that is if we set $100 goal for the day, 20% of 500, then the goal for phase two is to get you to that goal. Phase two's goal is to get you to goal. If it gets more than that, great. Then we go into phase three with extra money. I'm going to show you a strategy to manage your bankroll today that works well in what we call phase two. So with that said, we're going to visit a couple of different pressing methods, okay? We're going to look at same bet, obviously taking the same bet, pressing by 1 unit, the mid press, the power press, the regress to power press, which is starting high, coming low, and then hammering it afterwards. The press, collect method that VDC has made famous. The CPR, the collect, then press, then regress method. And again, not big growth, but probably pretty good return, because again, when you see the numbers, and I have to remind you of the numbers here, the roll counts that we see during a hand are gross. Right? We've talked about this in the past. Number of videos I've done where I've shown this same chart. This is one of the more important things you have to see is the low growth rate when you look at or the low press rate rather when you look at the rolls, right? The average roll ends, and again, I'm looking at Brian's roll is a good example. The average roll ends at about 4 numbers after the point's been established. You look at the point being established, we don't count that one because if you're placing, you're not getting paid on that when the point gets set. How many rolls after the point gets set does a typical roll last? The answer to that question is 4.5. I know the overall answer to the question is 8.5. Wizard of Odds has said 8.5 is the average roll length. Well, that takes into account the come out, right? Maybe 1 or 2, the horn number, the 11, the 7, the point being set. All those numbers I don't count in this chart because this chart is only about how often can you expect to be able to press and collect on a number. So if you discount the come out roll, including the point being established, right, you're looking at about 3 to 4.5 is the average length of a roll after the come out when you are safe or you can expect to be pressing. And that's what this chart is telling us. It's not about roll length, it's about collectible events that are likely after the point's been established. This is after, again, 1 million hands I've logged. This is the averages that I see. What does it tell you? Things like, okay, the 4 and the 10 have a 63% chance of not being hit after the point's been established. It's pretty big odds against you right there. 5 and 9, 6 and 8, maybe half the time they don't get hit at all. And then you look at how it descends from there. About a quarter of the time, depending on the number, you see 1 hit. About 10% of the time, depending on the number, you see 2 hits on the number after the point's been established. If you go back and look at what we looked at with the roll from the Hawaiian crapshooters, that tells you that same story. After the points have been established, how many shots are you seeing hit? You're not seeing a ton of repeat action. Even on a 14 roller, that's a common case, okay? So I think it's important for us to know the numbers here. This is why strategies, and I think that are more growth-based or just other ways of approaching it tend to work better than just simply going for the press because you don't get a chance to double hit. If we look at those numbers there, the double hitting doesn't happen as often as you think it does, even on a good roller, okay? And Waylon, you're right. I'm looking at a chatter here. If everybody could roll 14 rolls like Brian, you'd be great, right? But again, you've got to know how to bet a 14 roller with the mindset that it's 14 rolls does not mean I get 13 presses and one giant collect. And you saw that on the roll that we broke down. You don't always get that kind of juice on a long roll. So with that said, let's go to the table and we'll talk through some of the ideas of rolling here. I'm gonna have to move my my chip rack around before we start here, but let's get this out of the way. There we go. All right. I'm gonna move my rack up here where you can see it. Get my coffee over. All right, let's put the rack here. I'll put it right here in the field. We're not gonna use the field today, so we'll put the rack right in front. Now, for you place bettors out there, this is your day to shine, all right? Here's how this is gonna look. Let me get the light on so we can get a little better view. There we go. All right, I wanna make an assumption here. We're gonna assume that we have reached phase 2 in our betting. Okay, let's assume we've reached phase 2. In other words, we bought in for 500 bucks and here's 500 in green. We did something, whatever that strategy was. If it was come betting with odds, if it was the horseman, if it was some laddering, strategy, whatever it was, we made back our initial bankroll and we've got a little bit of profit to show. Now that profit may be showing to you like this. You may be out here something like this. You may have inside numbers bet and you're left with this. You're left with, let's just say you've done it and you're at 66, okay? And you go, okay, cool, my strategy worked. I'm back to even. I got 66 bucks out here in the rack and I'm ready to go. Now I'm in phase 2. My rule to you for phase 2 is this. Let's assume the point. We're in this position. I want you to mentally do this. You don't have to do this, but mentally do this for me. Pull your money back to your rack. Okay? I'm gonna physically do it, but you can mentally do it. So there's my money. There's my 66 bucks or 65 bucks, whatever you wanna call this, okay? There's my cash that I won following phase 1. It's not enough to go home with yet, right? I wanted to win 100 bucks to get my goal here is a black. I wanna get a black out of this deal, right? My 500 plus 20% is a black chip. That's my goal to get there. In phase 2, the question you have, number 1, is do you re-employ your phase 1 strategy? I would say no. In phase 1, I'm taking 5 or 6 or 10 cracks at earning enough money to do this. Maybe you get lucky and it happens the first time, that's fantastic. Maybe you had to work a little bit to get to this point here, but now you're at that point. And the question, or the rule that I would put on myself is this. Once I'm here, my job now is to lock profit. At worst, I'm going home even. At worst, I've worked hard, I've got this. What do you do with this money now to go in? And we're gonna look today at a place betting option, right? Later we'll do a come bet version of this. We'll later do a don't pass version. Like, what do you do with your short stack to make more money with it? That's the big question today. So what I wanna do is leave the rack here in front. I'm gonna actually move it down out of the way a little bit. And let's just look at some different ways that we can press our bets. And I think there's so much, what's the word I'm looking for? There's so much debate. Debate's the wrong word. There's so much opinion or dogmatism, I guess, on the ways, what's the best way to press, okay? I'm gonna show you 4 hits. If you get 4 hits on any one number, it's a miracle. It rarely happens. But when it does happen, even the other night we saw, I think somebody had a 27 roller that we broke down and they only had one number hit 5 times in 27 rolls. And 27 rolls is a long ass roll. So let's look at, we'll look at the 8. And what I'm gonna do with the 8 is I'm gonna do, we'll do a $10 or $12 8. And I'm gonna do it a few times. And I want you to kind of look as I do this. I've done this before, but I think it bears some repeating time. Let's move this down even further. Let's take a same better, all right? And the same better, I'm gonna run out of white chips here as we do this, but I want you to see what's gonna happen. The same better is gonna get paid 14 bucks 4 times in a row, okay? And we're gonna make the assumption that you get paid 4 times and then the 7 comes. So whatever's out here gets lost. That's going to be our assumption. So there's 14, 3, 4 times. Okay, it's a miracle roll. This person who has same betted 4 times has brought back to his rack 40, right? 10, 20, 30, 40 plus 4 times 12 is whatever that, I don't know what that even is, $24 or 16 bucks. So 56 bucks he brought back to his rack. It's not bad, right? 4 rolls, 56 bucks in profit, lost this one. So technically speaking, this is what his profit is. It's 30, 42, 44 bucks is what comes back to his rack. Okay, that's the same bettor has done that. That's not the worst thing to do, and I'm going to show you why it's not the worst thing to do. Let's take another one, and I'm going to go across here with these bets, and this will always just be a bet on the 8. Okay, I'm going to show you how the bet size increases in your profits as well. Let's do now a press by 1 version, just a single unit press every time, and our unit will be a $5 unit. Okay, we're not going to do a full 10. Our unit will be a single $5 unit. So we're going to go up by 1 $5 unit every hit. So here on the first hit of the 8, you get paid 14 bucks. We're going to press by 1. Okay, tell your dealer, make it look like 18, or tell your dealer, press by 1 unit, please. Either command will work to get you up. Now, this person has 8 bucks in their rack, 18 bucks out here. If you look at this right now, okay, because again, most of the time, this is going to happen about 25% of the time. This collection right here happens 25% of the time. The next collection only happens about 10% of the time. So in the biggest use case of all for place bettors, you're actually behind this person. The same bettor has more money in the rack than you do, and most of the time, 90% of the hands end with only 1 collect on the 8. Okay, 90% end with 1 collection on the 8. So this person is going to be ahead of the game on every single type of pressing. The same bettor is always ahead to get started. So remember that. So on the next hit, we'll see some separation here. The second hit at 18 bucks, that pays $21. We're again, press by 1. So press by a unit, please, or make it look like 24. Again, I want you to know what the next bet size is going to be, so you can tell your dealers the right thing. So here we have collected 15 on that one, which is more than this one here, by $1, but we're still overall in arrears to that person. Now on hit number 3, we're at 24, and that pays 28. I'm gonna go ahead and pay it in nickels. 25, 28 bucks. And again, press me by 1 unit, please, okay? So the dealer will take 6 of those dollars. You're gonna collect 17. Okay, this 6 bucks, we can press it up. That looks like 30. And again, make it look like 30. Press me up by 1 unit. He'll take this back and fix your bet. The last hit at the $30 level, it's going to be a $34 or $35 hit. I'm going to pay it 25, 30, and 5 whites. So I'm going to pay it like this. 35 bucks. And again, press by 1. Make it look like 36, either way you want to say it. And now you're bringing this back here. So this person overall has collected more money by hit 4, okay? Their total profit, if we color them up, is going to be 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, plus, what is that, 9? So 74 bucks altogether. $74 altogether. Not a bad run, okay? It's more money by about a quarter more than this person was. But at this phase, he's got less money in his rack. At hit 2, he still has less money in his rack than the person who just same betted twice. Okay, same betting is not the worst thing in the world. It's not the greatest thing, right? In a long run, same betting is too passive, right? In the short run, where it's just the 90% case, which is this roll or this roll, this person is actually ahead the whole time. So think about that. The same bettor is actually in the lead for the first 2 shots. Isn't that interesting how that works out? I find that very interesting. Let's look at let's do this again with a person who's going to do a mid press. Now the mid press is basically pressing by half of your winnings, or as close to as you can probably get. So the first roll, we're going to be at 12, right? So 12 bucks pays 14. Half of 14 is about 12 bucks, right? Or 6 bucks. So this person and the press by one will be in the same spot. Make it look like 18, and they're in the exact same position. So these two are tied in the first round. Now 18 is going to pay 21 bucks. So your $21, you have two choices here. You can go up by 12, drop a buck, which is what I'm going to do here. I'll drop a buck from my rack and go up by about half my bet. So we'll go up by a little bit more than half to 12, okay? That makes my bet look like 30. So know that going in, make it look like 30, or press by 2, you can say also. Either way. We'll leave that out there. We'll grab our green. And you'll notice that this person's at the $30 level here versus here. So they got there a little quicker. Now we're going to get paid on this one, 35 bucks, 25, 35. About half of 35 is 18, roughly speaking, okay? So now you're at 30 plus 18, 48. Make it look like 48, please. You're going to take this, okay? And what we'll probably do is this. We'll probably take this down. I need some more reds here. We'll get 4 reds and 5 whites for that. Okay. We're going to go to 30, 40, 5, 48 bucks. You're getting some change back. Now look at the change you've got. Here we are again. You're at a nice bet size. You're 48 bucks, right? This is going to pay 56 here in a minute. But look where your rack is. You're behind the same bettor. You're still behind you're behind the same bettor now. The same bettor's got 28 bucks in his rack. You've got 17. You're behind him by a lot, okay? Same bettor adds another 14 bucks. You've only added, you've added 17 that time, but you're still behind. After 3 hits on the number, which is a miracle, another miracle, this person is still behind the same bettor with a mid press. Mid press is the way to go. Everybody says the best way to press, right? 4 hits or 3 hits in, you're behind somebody who is literally smoking a cigarette and saying, same bet, same bet, same bet. That guy's beating your ass right now. Think about that as you're going through this. When you're being aggressive in your pressing, you better do a comparison like this and know where you stand against the more passive player. Okay, that's an important thing for you to understand, okay? Now you're at this, you're gonna get paid 56, right, 56 bucks. And now, at this level, your next press is going to be another half press, 56. Let's just say we'll do 24 bucks as an easier way to do it. You could actually go from 48. At this point, it might make sense to get something more normalized, right? Like a $72 bet. And let's go to 50, 72. Nice round number. And come on back. And now you finally have a little bit of green in your rack, okay? You're still in last place. This person is still in last place as far as what they've collected all the way through. 4 hits in, less money in the rack than everybody but this guy. Isn't that interesting? What does he have in his rack? Let's actually add it up. Let's see how close we are to being the same bettor. Right, the same bettor's got, we said 56 bucks. This guy's got 50, 60, 71. That's not a whole lot of difference. 4 hits in, right? And all you've achieved 4 hits in is having more money on the table. Okay, now, I know that you'll hear opportunities where it's at. You got to make yourself a chance to win on a monster roll. Well, we've seen many monster rolls on this show. Okay, hardly any of them get to this point. 4 hits on a number. That's 4 hits on a number is so hard to see in live practice that when you employ your different pressing methods, you have to really think about what you're going to gain out of it. All right. So those are a couple of options. Now let's do one more. We'll do one final option here, which is one that I really enjoy. This is a regression to power pressing. Okay, this is we're going to start here with an $18 bet on the 8. This is 18 bucks. Okay, we're going to regress this down. So this guy is going to get paid 21 bucks. Okay, $21. We're going to regress backwards to 12 for the first hit. Okay, there's 12 bucks. So after the first hit, we're going to come back here. We're going to have 25, $27 in our rack after hit number 1. So you go from 18 to 12 right away. Take a profit. You're in the lead. You're above everybody else on the first hit, which is fantastic. The next hit as we know, pays 14 bucks. Now we power press up. 14 bucks. I'm going to go up by $12 twice. So the 12 from what I won plus 10 from my rack. Right, we're going to go to $36 right away. We're going to jump right through the ceiling here and go power press all the way to 36 bucks. I'm going to go ahead and get proper colors here. There's 36. Press right up. Now we're going to start collecting. So from 36, we go to 42, 25, 42. You can press at this point the way you see it, right? I can go from 36 to, let's say, 48, right? Right to 48, rack a quarter. From 48, 56, right? You might, from here, either go to 72 or maybe be a little bit froggy with it or be a little bit cautious with it and just go to 60 and take all this back as profit, okay? So regressing to power pressing is it's a baller move at the beginning, a nice couple of easy collects towards the end here. And again, this guy would now be in the lead, but not until roll 3. So think about it. All right, I'm giving you this long demo here because I want you to think about when you press, if you're going to be a place better who likes to press, explore all of your options and know, A, what the commands for the dealers are. How do I ask them to get me where I want to be? And B, where am I likely to be on these rolls? You guys that think you're going to press your way into glory, it doesn't work that way, right? It doesn't actually work that way. You've got to think about how you're building up and when are you collecting and what are you collecting. So Jeff always says ABC, always be collecting. That's a good rule. Everybody here collected all the way through, right? We just collected a teeny amount on some of these until it got big. And again, if you're going to work your way back to here, that's fine, okay? Question I have for you is this, or I guess the point that I want to make following this is this, which is at what point do you do this kind of heavy duty, aggressive pressing? And at what point do you do this teaser, I'm going to be nice and safe method, right? There's a time for each of these, okay? The time to go here, to me, on the power press, even a regressive power press is when you don't care, right? When I'm already in profit. Let's reset my rack. Let's say we did some work and we got to here and we had earned our $100, right? Now we're locked in profit. We have met our goal and we have 66 bucks. That's the time I would do this power press because this money here is literally lighted on fire money. This is be aggressive. I don't care if I'm stable. To get here, you might be in here, doing a little bit more stable betting, collecting every time you get a chance to collect, maybe even collecting and pulling things down to make this feel like $100. And then you can say, now I've got the freedom to press without fear. This right here, or this simple mid press, doesn't work well in the short runs like this. It works better in the longer runs. Okay, does that make sense? So that's what I'm gonna focus on here. Let me go ahead and clear the board out. Put all this money back in the rack and let's roll it out a little bit. And I wanna just kind of do some basic, simple pressing moves here while we're in. Man, there's so many white chips out here. Let's get some basic play in. Wow. Sorry for the delay while I do this, but there's a lot of chips out there. I hope this was helpful to kind of visualize. And again, it's more of a tool to say, how do I know which pressing method works best for me? And a lot of that's got to come from the way that you see it. Here we go. We're going to take this pretend profit away. We're at goal. I'll move this back up. We're at our bankroll. We've achieved phase 1. We have 66 bucks. What are we going to do to make this 66 look like 100 so we can keep going? Well, what I'm going to do is let a point get established. Well, let's pretend like we're just getting started here in a new shooter. We'll let this person establish their point. And of course they can't, which is good. Get all the uglies out of the way now. All right, we're at 6. Point is gonna be a 6. Now, you can do lots and lots and lots of things here, okay? With 66 bucks, you can go all the way across. You can go heavy on the 6 and the 8. You can go 30 and 30 here if you wanted to, and just hammer those quickly and say, well, I'm gonna take 2 big hits or 1 big hit and almost be there. Or you can go across and increase your spread. The amount of money you bet here is immaterial. It's where you bet it. Now, if I'm trying to get growth quickly, right? You've got all this to play with. We're gonna do it twice, okay? I'm gonna do this with a $30, 6 and 8. That's gonna be the way we're gonna go at it. I'll leave my whites in here. We're gonna go just heavy on the middle, and that's it, right? Because really, if we're at $66, 1 hit of this gets me to my 100. Okay, this is a 1 hit and down type of thing. The downside to this is that you only have 2 numbers working. So you're potentially going to be here for a longer period of time. You may have to experience more rolls to achieve your goal here. Let's see what happens. Let's get lucky. Let's get lucky and burn our foundation here to get 1 shot. We did it. We got the 8. That pays 35 bucks. Okay. Now, if you virtually look at your rack, where are we at? 25, 50, 75, 95, and 5. We're at 100 bucks. Technically speaking, you're done. At this point, you have finished it up. Okay. What I'm going to do though is this. We're going to go ahead and take this down like so. I'm going to go to $12, 6 and 8. I'm going to pull this back to my rack, and now I've got 75 bucks. I'm working my way towards the 100 here. We're going to lower ourselves down and lock that up so we're good for another shot at it. I gave myself more money in case we 7 out here to take another crack at it. What I'll do with these 2 is probably fan out on the next hit. If we get another hit. We don't. We got a 7. Good timing to pull back. But look at what we did. We gave ourselves opportunity to do a little bit more next time. Now I've got 75 bucks. Let's get a new point coming out. And again, I'm working the short stack only. I'm never going back here. Don't care about the point. There we go, 5. Okay, this time we can take this 50 and maybe we'll do something like, maybe we'll do 51. Maybe we'll do like this. We'll do 18, 18. I need to get some, I'll need to get some whites out of here. So we'll do, there's 45, 50, and we'll do this. We'll do 51. 5, 6, and 8, no field. We'll get the point though. And again, we're gonna regress these down and grab new numbers as we go. Again, trying to be careful here with our rack. Unfortunately, oh, that rolled on me. That was a 7. Unfortunately, we get punted out really quick. And now we have to go back to work, right? So that didn't work out. Little 0.7 out action for you. It'll happen. It is what it is. Now we have a quarter for the next point. It'll be a 7 coming out. I know you guys can't see the rolls landing. Just trust me. I'm not trying to cheat you. There's a hard 10. New point is going to be a 10. Again, we'll take this quarter. What can I do with the quarter? I can only make 2 bets with it. Really, I can just do the 6 and the 8 again, which we'll do. We'll take 25 bucks. We'll go 10, 12, 12, put a penny back in. And again, same thing. Are we at risk? No, our bankroll is stable still, right? We're just hoping we can turn that into something. Work that short stack a little bit. And maybe the dice will help us out here. There's 2 9s in a row. We should have been on different numbers here. 3 9s in a row. Wow. So all that stuff about the numbers never repeating, you can just call that a lie. There's our 7 out. So it didn't work. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Now we had a choice to make there in the beginning that I want to talk about. When we were, and I'll reset my rack here in a second. When we were at the point where I had the $30, 6 and 8, and we won 35 bucks, we were at goal. We chose to keep playing past goal to try and get a little bit extra out of it, right? That's not a bad play. A better play may have been this. And I'm going to show you what I could have also done here. We had 5 in our rack at the time. That makes it an even, I think we had 6 actually. That makes it a 101. What we could have done is this. We could have pulled it all back and locked 50 and then went back out to battle with even less, right? Make the short stack half the size that it was. And again, play careful. Let's try it. If we can get a profit this time, let's try that. Let's try that this time. So we're gonna go, we have 50, $66 like we had last time. Let's get a new point and we'll do it again. 6 will be our new point. And again, we're playing short stack. All we're doing is playing with profits we earned from the last time, from our initial strategy. This is like phase 2. 30 and 30, 6 in the rack. If we can get a hit on one of those inside numbers, we're gonna be in good shape. Of course, big red shows up and we're kind of out. In this situation, I'm gonna save this money here. I'll put it here in the rack for now, but we lost it. In this situation, what you have to do, go back. Now you gotta go back to phase 1 and play it again and try and get another foundation set. It's this kind of battle you go back and forth with. Let's again, assume we're at base, we have foundation, pucks off. We're gonna try a short stack play again. It's gonna keep repeating the process until we find a strategy that we like. This time, maybe we'll go across and we'll see if that works better for us. There's an 8. There's our 66 bucks. We're gonna go 64 across this time. So we're gonna take this time, instead of going just on 2 numbers, let's get them all as an option. 2, 2, and a dollar change. Let's see if this works better for us. 4. I'm gonna same bet it, okay? Again, we're trying to get to a stable spot. 18 bucks. What I might actually do is take the 3 and grab the hard way and rack that. Damn, we're getting the quick 7s here today. I told you in the beginning, the 7 comes, these rolls last 4.5 times after a point. It happens so often. 1 hit, everything else goes away. What a bummer. All right, let's do it one more time. Okay, again, bankroll is tight. We're gonna go 64 across. With a buck change, assuming we had 165 in round 1 or phase 1, let's get a new point established. It'll be a 5. Can we work our cross bets into anything stable? 9. Okay, there's 1. Again, we're gonna same bet for a little bit here. We're gonna get our money back off the table. I wanna get this thing to be stable. We're gonna take 1 hit on each and then press up the numbers as they come. So the 9 got hit once. Here comes the 5 getting hit once. We'll do 15 for 1. Right, those 2 numbers have been pressed or have been hit and collected on. They can be pressed now. I do this thing where I say, we don't press until we collect. Again, the 8 also pays 14. And again, we'll do 15 for $1. Collect on that. Now, all 3 of those numbers can be pressed up if they hit again. There's another 8. So the 8 comes in. Now the 8 will get pressed. It's going to pay 14. We're going to go to 18 with it and bring money back to the rack. Now the rack is getting to the point where it's going to be almost back to where we started with it. Aces. We'll do a quick assessment here in a minute. There's another 8. That's great. That pays 21. Okay, make it look like 24. Now it's 24. And look at our rack. I want you to do a quick assessment of the rack here. That's why we have the lammers, okay? There's 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is 5 units. So that's 50 bucks. Here's 60. And there's 5. We're at 65 bucks in the rack. This right here is where this all started. So we got our base, our foundation has paid for itself. We're at a new base. We can actually try this whole thing again. In my rack, I'm thinking that right now. I'm thinking I got another shot at 64 across if this all goes south. I also think that I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 bucks sitting out here, right? And I've achieved my goal, right? What you should be doing in phase 2 is saying, well, I got to goal. My goal in phase 2 is to get to my actual goal. Take it all down. This is the time to take it down. You did your work, right? If I come up in here, look what I'm going to do. We're going to go reset the rack. There's 100, or I'm sorry, 25, 50, 75, 100 in the rack. Guess what we have? We have goal plus money. We've achieved our goal, and I'll take these whites here and just kind of get a quick color up on the whites. $25, $35, $40, $2. So we have our goal plus money, and now we're in another short stack. Once I've locked this up, now I'm in short stack number 2. Phase 3 starts here. Phase 3 starts with whatever I've earned above and beyond my goal in phase 2. And that's the way I would approach this, right? We got burned a couple of times and would have had to go back to stable or to base to get that back up again. But if you can work the bets to where you get yourself even, have a new short stack. Now this short stack here can go to work. I can actually take, for example, I might even take this and go here. I might even go don't pass with my new short stack on a new come out to a 4, right? New number on a 4. I may drop some odds on that and come out with a come bet. Just one, that's what I have left in my rack. One come bet goes to the 8, and we let it roll. We're gonna let those 2 bets, my short stack, ride it out. I'll take a hit on the 8, and I'll take my come bet, or my don't pass, and work phase 3 here from that phase 2. There's my 7. That's fine, actually, right? This actually should have been bridged. And what you end up with is this loses, but you win 20 bucks. Back to my rack I go. I can press that to 15. I might even do $15 or $10 field bet on the way out. Get a little freebie money in here. We lose it, but so what? It goes to the 5. I can do another come bet. I can lay 3 here to win 2. And we'll see what happens. 7 out. Beautiful. Look at this. The second short stack is actually burning money for me, right? There's that. There's 3 units on the don't and 2 on the odds. And my short stack, my second short stack is doing this. Now check out what I do here. Come back to the rack we go. I'm going to take this money here and put about half of it as lock. I'm going to keep on locking new money. My shorty stack is now, I'm shrinking this, but I'm locking up more profit. Now I'm at an extra 35 bucks. I keep growing my go home stack from my short stack as I go. That's how I play phase 2 and phase 3. Phase 2, get me up a little bit, hit my goal. Phase 3, short stack play. It's hard to play with a short stack. It really is hard to say, what do I do when I've only got 60 bucks? And you can look at this like I got 60 bucks left, or I look at that as I have 60 bucks. That's my big gun. How can I turn 60 bucks into, like I did, 140 or whatever it was? That's what you're trying to do is take that short stack and make some hay out of it. So that's phase 2 with pressing, right? I pressed my way into profit, into my lock. Then I switched into something else to move further along in it. I hope that makes sense, everybody. Let me come back over here. All right, let's see. Let me go back to the picture of me, my glasses off, and are there any, I'm gonna try my thing. Let's do a Q. There are some questions here, it looks like. So Kevin wants to know about pressing hard ways. Yeah, totally. Actually, Mike from On Point Craps did a pressing thing on hard ways. And actually, I feel like somebody hit that, Brian, on your live show. Pressing the hard ways and parlaying the hard ways. Parlaying a hard way can be massive money, right? If you're that type of player, do it. So I have a strategy where I play where I buy the 4 and 10 and I do the hard way 4 and 10 for the same amount. So 25, 25, 25, 25. And in that case, whenever a hard way hits, I press them both and try and work that up. That's a really aggressive strategy. When I'm shooting 4s and 10s a lot, I'll start going to that because that's, again, it's a feel thing and it's a trying to attack a trend kind of thing. I think that's not a terrible way to go. Yeah, and Jay, you're putting this up. The 50% press amounts to 1 unit press. And for quick and average shots, it's good. The half press is better for the monster shots, right? Obviously, the power pressing is where you want to be on a monster. But again, you don't know when a monster is coming. You have no idea when that's going to happen. The monster could happen at any time. And you have no way of knowing when it's going to be. And that's why, like, my typical way of pressing, if I'm being honest with you, right? If I'm not playing the come with odds, or if I'm not playing the headless horseman, when I'm on the box, I do what I just did, which is same bet on a number. Once I've collected on that number, the next time I press up. And every number to me gets same betted one time so it pays for itself, and then I start going hard from that point on. I don't like pressing bets that aren't paid for, right? And even though I was playing with profit, technically they're all paid for, I'm still on goal. My goal is still to load my rack with that next 20% and then keep playing forward from there. So that was kind of the message of today. If nothing else sticks, look at how I did the rack in the end there, right? We took our foundation money, it was about half of our profit. We doubled it to make our profit. I cut that in half and worked with half of that stack and worked short stacks. And every short stack I build and I cut it in half. I build and I cut it in half. And I'm cutting in half to profit. I'm always racking half my winnings to profit once I'm at goal. From that point on, half of everything I make gets locked up, right into my pocket. That's, I think, the way to manage your bankroll and your money in the most cases, right? In the 90% use case, that's how you're gonna lock up profit, right? How you play is whether or not you win, but how you lock it up is important. And this is more of a money management technique that I'm showing you here versus a how to play craps video. This is more like, what do you do in your rack? How do you see that money, right? Get to foundation or get to base, get to foundation, use your foundation short stack to win your profit goal plus extra. Take the extra little tiny bit and now you're back again. Learn how to play with a short stack. I think if you can practice with only $60 and keep turning $60 into 100 over and over and over again and find strategies that work on a short stack. Waylon, I love you, but none of your stuff will work on a short stack, right? If you want to do the short stack style of betting like this, you can't be laddering, right? This has to be a regression or a spread to build. You can ladder afterwards, but if you're going to say I'm limiting myself to my bankroll plus my profit and what's left is all I can play with, you have to find something else to do. So that's got to be, like we saw, a don't pass with a come bet with odds, simple place bets with same bet followed by pressing. You got to be careful with the short stack. It's a different way of playing when you don't have bankroll behind you. So think about short stack plays, and that's what I want you to kind of take away from today. Short stack plays. I'll do short stack plays the rest of the week. We're going to do short stack every single day. What can I do with $60 all week long? And if we can make $60 make us 100, right? That's winning craps over the long haul. That's going to be really good. There's lots of ways to do it. Today was just one way of approaching it. Tomorrow we'll do a whole different way of doing it. So that is that. And again, join me. Be ready to go here Thursday night too. Thursday and Friday will be double days. I'll be doing this show in the morning. I'll be doing the how to teach somebody how to play craps from zero to hero in 2 consecutive night shows, Thursday night, Friday night, maybe one on Saturday too. We'll see how that works out. Not for sure if that's going to work on Saturday. What it really comes down to scheduling. We'll see how that works out, but for sure Thursday, Friday. And yeah, hopefully, I'm not sure where you guys are watching from. You guys all watching from ProCraps? You're watching from the casino channel today. Start converting yourselves to the casino channel. I'm going to start moving this thing through. Waylon, respectfully disagree. What I'm not wrong about is this, right? If this is, I wish I can keep your comment on screen, but I'll have to put it back here in a minute. If you're taking the mindset of, I did whatever I did and I got to my bankroll square and I've earned some foundation, some $60, whatever it's going to be. Okay. if I'm only going to play with the 60 bucks, if the mindset is I'm never going to touch my core bankroll again, all I've got is 60, you can't ladder with 60 bucks. There's no ladder strategy that works with such a tiny stack, okay? If you're going to say, yes, I'll put my bankroll back at play and I can do the whole thing, then sure, you can do it. With a short stack, there's not enough money there to ladder, right? And that's kind of the thing, right? That's what I'm saying. If you're going to take this approach of locking your profit win and then playing short stack, you can't ladder a short stack. If you can ladder, if you are okay with going back to your bankroll again and putting it all at risk while you're laddering up, totally fine. But if I'm focusing on playing with 60 bucks, there's not enough there to withstand even two or three losses on that. And that's the only reason why I say that, Waylon. Unless you're going to do one unit laddered 3 times, you might be able to get there with 6 units, but even then, it's not the greatest play. You want to make sure you're getting more back to you. So anyway, that's it. Hopefully that's food for thought. It's not the only way to do this. It's a way to do this, and it's a way to approach your rack, and hope that helped out. So again, love talking to y'all in the mornings. We have a good 35, 40 people here. That's great. Again, hit the like and subscribe button on the way out, especially because the new channel needs the likes. The new channel needs you to like it. We can get some traction out there. That'd be awesome. So anyway, that's it. Get out there and see, folks. I know Waylon's got like 4 or 5 videos out this week. I've only seen one of them, dude. I'm sorry. I've been so busy. I've only seen one of them. Jeff's got the 15 for 150 coming out tonight, and I think On Point put one out. A lot of stuff going on. So that's it. I'll go watch our friends. Watch our friends roll dice, and I'll see you all in the morning. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.